So I recently purchased a Martini Henry carbine off a private seller online, and this is the first time opening it up. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I've only seen kind of some small pictures, haven't examined it up close. So looking forward to seeing what I get. So here it is out of the box. Let's take a closer look at it, starting with the buttstock. Looks to be in pretty good shape. Now I'm told that these were made on a contract. The Indian government, they made about, it was like 25 or 30,000 of these. So it's pretty interesting. You can see here the marking, HRB 1894. I'm told that these were Mark II receivers that were basically repurposed for carbine. Stock looks to be pretty good shape. Not a whole lot of bluing left, but otherwise in pretty good shape. The rear sight looks to have been modified from an adjustable sight. You know that this bore was actually converted to a 476 for shotgun rounds. It's probably not necessary to have the range settings anymore. Alright, let's flipping it over. Happy to see that the retaining screw is in pretty good shape. Very minor pitting on this side. Buttstock also in good shape. Got some proof markings. Metal band screw looks good. And it's got the cleaning rod as well. It looks like they put a plug right here. Used to be a screw there. It's not really necessary since it does have the hook right here that you find on the Mark IVs and Mark IIIs to keep the forestock on. Overall looks good. I'm going to take it apart, take a look at all the parts and clean them up. Breaking this down, I put some chalk on the marking to see a little better, but it's a pretty nice mark. Pulled out the block, it's covered in like just hardened grease. Well, the outside was cleaned, it looks like the inside wasn't cleaned out. It looks like it's basically in the same condition it was. Came out of storage. So we'll let these parts sit in some oil. The butt plate screws came off pretty easy. Stock bolt I had to tap out. It was pretty much covered in grease. Butt plate looks good though. It doesn't look like it has really any pitting on it. I'll be interested to see what the barrel looks like underneath all this grime, but I don't see any pitting yet. Looks like the grease is still pretty, got some moisture to it. It's not so dried out as some of the other examples I've seen. Now the butt stock looks like it's definitely been refinished at some point in its life. I mean, it's got like this kind of glossy feel to it. I don't see any wood rot on it though, any damage. You can see the back of the buttstock here. I don't see any damage to the wood. So this should clean up nicely. So I got it all taken apart. I got some plain white Gojo hand cleaner right here in the inlay where the barrel goes. I found that really helps break up hardened grease and it doesn't damage the finish. Also got the buttstock off. Got some of the Gojo here where the wrist meets the receiver. And I got the receiver and the barrel. I just sprayed it down with a whole bunch of hops and on the top and bottom of the barrel, so that'll help loosen up all of the grease. And then I'll be cleaning it up. I got all the other small parts in this bag right here. It's a gallon Ziploc bag just sitting in some hops. So let this sit a little while and then I'll clean it up and show you how it looks. So I got the carbine cleaned up. You can see where the wood line is, there's a bit of pitting. It's very minor, and I don't see any pitting below the barrel. It still had a lot of hardened grease, so it pretty much protected the metal from that. So it looks pretty good. See the proof marks here? Underneath the barrel. More proof marks. See there's a bit of wood rot here. Down in this area. But stock otherwise pretty well preserved where the barrel was laying. Here's some of the larger parts. All cleaned up really nicely. See some good markings on these. Right here on the block. And as well as on the trigger. Usually these butt plates are pretty pitted, but this one actually looks pretty nice. Buttstock looks good as well. Let's go ahead and put this back together. This is it all cleaned up. There's that receiver marking. Buttstock was clearly refinished, same with the forestock at some point. It's got that kind of sheen to it. You don't really see this this type of finish. Overall, looks pretty good. Cleaned up pretty nicely. So definitely be a good addition to my collection. If you'd like to see more videos like this, feel free to like and subscribe.